Good evening and welcome everyone. This is a great crowd tonight. I think I know why. Um, Welcome to the Mayor and Council meeting of Monday, March the 16th, 2026. The time is 6:05 p.m. A quorum is present. This time, I'd like to ask that Councilmember Mock lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Council members, you have before you an agenda.
We add supplemental items 15 and 16 to the agenda, which would be a certificate certifying the special election results and also the oath of office for Julie Locke.
Okay, we'll move that to just before public commentary, correct?
Correct.
All right.
I'll second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. At this time, we will address item number 15, Resolution 2607, Certification of Special Election Results.
I move that we certify the election results.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it is official. All right, item number 16, the oath of office for Councilmember Julie Locke, Councilmember Ward 2. Judge Morris, you're with us this evening, and we are so pleased and honored that you are here. If you will come to the microphone, that way it can be recorded. It's whatever you would like, Judge.
Side. I'll stand here. All right, if you raise your right hand, please. I, Julie Locke, do hereby solemnly swear that
I, Julie Lott, do hereby solemnly swear
that
that
I will faithfully perform the duties of council member
I will faithfully perform the duties of council member
of this city,
of this city,
and that I will support and defend
and that I will support and defend
the charter thereof,
the charter thereof,
as well as the Constitution and laws
as well as the Constitution and laws
of the state of Georgia
of the state of Georgia
and of the United States of America,
and of the United States of America.
that I am not the holder
I'm sorry,
that I am not the holder
that I'm not the holder
of any unaccounted for public money
of any unaccounted for public money
due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof,
or authority thereof,
that I am not the holder
that I'm not the holder
of any office of trust
of any office of trust
under the government of the United States,
under the government of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
any foreign state,
any foreign state,
which I, by the laws of the state of Georgia,
which I, by the laws of the state of Georgia,
am prohibited from holding.
am prohibitive of holding.
I am otherwise qualified
I am otherwise qualified
to hold said office
to hold said office
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of Georgia.
and laws of Georgia.
I have been a resident of my district
I have been a resident of my district
and the city of Dalton
and the city of Dalton
for the time required
for the time required
by the Constitution
by the Constitution
and laws of this state
and laws of this state
and by the municipal charter.
and by the municipal charter.
I will perform the duties
I will perform the duties
of my office
of my office
in the best interest
in the best interest
of the city of Dalton
of the city of Dalton
and to the best of my ability,
and to the best of my ability,
without fear,
without fear,
favor,
favor,
affection,
affection,
reward,
reward,
or expectation thereof.
or expectation thereof.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Can you get a picture with the judge and Julie? Julie, before you walk down, get a picture with you and Judge Morris. Before we'll have it. We're excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Okay. All right, council members, as we move on through the agenda, next will be public commentary. If there's anyone who wishes to address this council, you're welcome to come forward now. I don't believe we have any comment cards filled out, and seeing no one move forward, we will move on to presentations. Any staff reports this evening?
There are no staff reports this evening, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Locke has elected to recuse herself on voting this evening, is that she has not had time to become familiar with the items that we will deliberate on tonight. And so she will, but may vote where she finds appropriate, but on most items, she has chosen to recuse herself. Council members, we have minutes of the mayor and council meeting of March the 2nd, 2026. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Under unfinished business, item number 3, second reading ordinance 26-02 to amend chapter 26 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned businesses to reserve sections 26-333 through 26-344, and by the addition of a new article X captioned, Article 10 captioned vape and tobacco stores, to provide for an effective date, to provide for the repeal and conflicting ordinances, to provide for severability and for other purposes. Jonathan?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. As you'll recall, we had a work session and went through this proposed ordinance. We had a first reading on February 2nd. And the idea behind the ordinance was to provide some regulation on vape stores in the beginning, and we came up with a pretty comprehensive licensing scheme. After hearing some comments, that's been revised to be a ban on vape and tobacco stores that are located within the city. There is a definition that gives us exactly what vape and tobacco stores means. That would be a store that has 25% or more of the establishment's gross revenue. Annual gross revenue would be derived from the sale of regulated products. Regulated products is defined as well in the ordinance to be tobacco products, but also consumable vapor products. There's a whole list in the definition of products that go along with that. A vape and tobacco store would also be an establishment that maintains at least 25% of its floor space for the display or sale of regulated products. It's also an establishment that has at least 500 square feet of its floor space devoted to those products. And it would also finally be an establishment that regularly holds itself out for the sale of those types of products, advertises itself to be an establishment selling those products. Notably, cigar bars are defined and they are excluded from that definition. Also, gasoline stations are defined and excluded from that definition. It's also important to note that stores that are currently operating as vape or tobacco stores in the city would be grandfathered in. So they would be able to continue to operate provided that they have an existing occupational tax certificate that's valid and provided that they continue to meet the requirements of the code. And those are specifically set out in section 26-348. If the vape and tobacco store ceased operation for 30 days, if the principal owner died, if there was a bankruptcy, if that store moved locations, if it lost its occupational tax certificate, if any state license or other permit was suspended, revoked, or limited in any way, then that store would lose its grandfathered status. Also, if any employee, owner, or agent of the vape and tobacco store is convicted of violating any federal, state, or local law, in connection with the sale of any product at the vape and tobacco store, it would lose its grandfathered status. And so that's a general overview of the ordinance. For your consideration, I'm glad to answer any questions if there are any.
Council members, any questions or comments for City Attorney Jonathan Bledsoe?
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to thank the city attorney. I know I'm partially responsible for all the extra work you had to do. I just regret that we, the city, didn't think about this several years ago before they were already all over the city like they are now. But at least hopefully some time in the future, maybe not in my lifetime, but sometime in the future, we can drive up and down and not have any of them anymore. I know after my comments at that other meeting, I just drove down Glenwood Avenue and I didn't want to have a wreck. So I may have missed one or two, but just driving, starting like at Emory Street maybe and driving to Glenwood down past the bypass, I think I passed 6 or 7 vape stores on that one boulevard. So unfortunately, we can't do anything about the ones that are already here, but hopefully, over time, we can see less and less of them, and the people that want to get those products can go somewhere that also sells other products like a service station or something like that. But I appreciate all the work you did, and I'll make a motion that we enact this ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Farrow. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 4, Resolution 26-06 to authorize participation in the opioid settlement agreement.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. As you may recall, over the last couple of years, there have been a number of national and state settlements to do with the opioid epidemic. And recently, the city was notified that there was a new opioid settlement reached with what they call 6 remnant defendants. Those are listed on your screen, starting at Associated Pharmacies, Inc., running down through United Natural Foods. Again, this is a national settlement that also the Attorney General's Office of the state of Georgia has negotiated. So the resolution before you this evening states that it is in the best interest of the city to participate in this settlement that's been reached, to receive those settlement funds for the purpose of mitigating the effects of opioid abuse in the community. It also authorizes the city administrator and/or the CFO to execute any necessary documents that may be required to opt in.
All right, are there any questions or comments of Andrew on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 5, Resolution 26-08, authorizing municipal property easement, Mountain Ridge Baptist Church.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple of months back, we were notified that a surveyor had located a cemetery on the south end of town near the South Bypass and Howell Drive. As part of this survey work, it was determined that there was not a clear easement to access the cemetery. At the time, we didn't know who the cemetery belonged to, and the surveyor inquired if it may be owned by the city of Dalton. So after some research and talking to several folks, the city clerk's assistants, Tom Miner's assistants, we were able to determine that the cemetery, which dates back to the late 1800s, is owned by Mountain Ridge Baptist Church, and I believe we have some of the deacons here with us this evening. Since that time, the city thought that it would be in everyone's best interest to avoid an implied easement scenario, to have a clear recorded easement. And so the attorneys and the surveyors have worked with both city staff and Dalton Utilities leadership to identify a 20-foot easement, permanent easement, that would provide access across a tract that's owned by the city, but Dalton Utilities has gas equipment on. to access this cemetery that I believe is around 210 feet wide by 210 feet long. So if you approve this resolution 2608 tonight, it authorizes the mayor to execute the easement documents required to formalize the permanent easement.
All right, are there any questions or comments of Andrew on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 6, landlord's consent to assignment and assumption of easement agreement at Raisin Way, parcel 12-128-01-000 with Celco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless and the Towers LLC.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you may recall, back in the early portion of 2025, the council authorized and approved Resolution 2502, which authorized the city attorney and city administration to conduct a public auction for an easement area on Raisin Way near the former Brooker Inert landfill and Saul Raisin Bike Park to facilitate construction of a new cell tower on adjacent private property. So although the tower would be constructed on private property, the clearest way of access was through city property. So we conducted that auction. The easement was later executed between the city and Celco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. That tower has not been constructed yet, but we were notified earlier this year that Verizon is getting out of the business of owning and operating their own towers, and they sold their interest in this particular tower to an entity called the Towers LLC, and they have asked the city to consent to assign this easement to the Towers LLC, whereby all such rights and obligations under the original easement agreement that was granted by the city would be granted to the Towers LLC. City attorney has been very involved with drafting and edits to this, and we'd be glad to answer any questions if there are any.
All right, are there any questions or comments of Andrew on this item? If not,
Move we approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 7, agreement for the development of real estate between Blackthorn House LLC and the city of Dalton and Charles Whitener.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. This agreement is a little bit unique. As you may recall, Mr. Whitener and Blackthorn House own a tract that's adjacent to both Hagmill Lake Park and the North Bypass near its intersection with North Thornton Avenue. I believe it's just over 50 acres. When the bypass was constructed, GDOT acquired the rights of way to be limited access, so it's very difficult to get access, whether for public or private interest, into parcels given this limited access constraint. And GDOT, when they do consider it, they look for the places that it would make most sense. And so at this particular location, to facilitate both improved public road access, but also access to the tract owned by Blackthorn, an agreement is presented for your consideration to formalize an agreement whereby Blackthorn, at its sole expense, would design and construct a public roadway that ties in with the north portion of the intersection of Thornton Avenue and the bypass. So currently it is a T intersection, so it's got three legs. If this is approved and GDOT grants it, there would be a fourth leg going to the north into the park that would run adjacent to the mill line. There were several logistical items that had to be considered that were formalized as part of this agreement, like in order for GDOT to consider it, there's an existing access to the dam that's utilized by Dalton Utilities personnel in the city that would be abandoned in favor of getting a new access with a signalized leg to the intersection, which would be much more safe for both the city and Dalton Utilities personnel in lieu of the existing access. There's also a gate, security gate, that Dalton Utilities would need relocated. That's memorialized as part of this agreement. Additionally, the agreement calls for the mill line. There's a small portion that will be in conflict with the proposed public roadway. The developer, Blackthorn, will be responsible for relocating the trail before constructing the road so that there is no impact to the trail. And again, as part of this contract, Blackthorn is also agreeing to build a trailhead for the mill line that would be located on city property at their expense. And so for those considerations, the agreement would call for the city to assist them in applying for the access break with the DOT. And again, all costs associated with that would be on Blackthorn. And I think that concludes the presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I do have a question. That and what we do here tonight, no way guarantees that he's going to get it. He still has to go through the process. And
That's correct. And the city attorney was very careful to craft some language that if for some reason GDOT does not approve the access break, there would be basically no damage to the city. The developer couldn't claim any damages against the city.
All right, any,
Madam Mayor, I think this is a win-win for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think it's going to improve the safety in moving that driveway that Dalton Utilities presently uses. It doesn't have any kind of, I guess, D-cell or X-cell. Is the new intersection gonna have something like that, Mr. Parker?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Farrow. As part of GDOT's review, they will require a full improved intersection plan, which to your point, will contemplate all the signal improvements that are required in order to add that additional leg, in addition to the acceleration and deceleration lanes, which is now per their policy a requirement. Anytime you're adding a new lane or new leg of the approach to a high-speed roadway. And again, Blackthorn will be totally on the hook for the cost associated with that.
And so because it aligns with that present Thornton Avenue extension, I think, at the end of the day, it's not like it's an extra cut, on the bypass because you've already got that intersection there anyway. And the only other thing I'd add is, there's a limited amount of property we have in the city to develop, and whether it's Mr. Whitener or some other entity that he sells the property to, I think, there's all sorts of opportunities for future residential or commercial development with this size tract. And obviously, I guess we can address all that if and when somebody, gets to that stage. I'm sorry.
are there any other comments or questions on this item?
a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 8, memorandum of agreement, Army Corps of Engineers and the City of Dalton for the replacement of the Underwood Street Bridge. Chad?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This request is to approve the MOA with the Army Corps of Engineers, which outlines the steps necessary for the removal of a dated bridge that qualifies to be historical in nature, given its age. The bridge will be removed at the time of the replacement of the current bridge that is in use, in which we anticipate taking place later this year. Removal of the bridge in discussion is necessary to improve the flooding issues that we experience on Underwood Street, as well as negate the safety concern given the dilapidated state of the bridge. This has been reviewed by the city attorney, and with that, I'll take any questions.
All right.
I did have a quick question. So during construction, I guess people just have to go from each end, and there's not going to be a temporary structure of any kind.
Yeah, that's correct. There will be no temporary structure erected during the replacement of the existing bridge.
And what's the predicted time of construction?
They're saying 8 to 10 months. We're going off an engineer's estimate on that. We have not spoke with any contractors associated with that, but 8 to 10 months is what we're being told by the
Have the
engineers.
people in the area been somewhat educated about this?
Not as of yet. We're still in the easement procurement phase, as well as working out the permitting with the state. We wanted to work through that so we could get a more secure time frame before we spoke with the public in regards to that.
And when that time comes, they will be plenty of advanced education for them.
Yes, sir.
We also, on the Public Works, we wanted to try to do it starting in the summer so it doesn't affect buses. And also it's going to be relocation of the street further east? No, further west, right?
Rushmore will be realigned for a more proper alignment than what it currently has now. So
Yeah,
improve sight distance as well as the approach grades.
that's excellent. Yeah.
Thank you, Chad. Are there any other questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
I have a
Second.
motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 9, approval of boost grant from GRPA for $35,000. Steve?
So Dalton Parks and Recreation was awarded $35,000 from GRPA for the Boost Grant. These funds will be used for our after-school programs and our summer camps. It is a reimbursement grant that does not require matching fund. These funds will help bolster the programs we already have. Our summer camp grew last year, and we anticipate that growth again. And Dalton Parks Director recommends approval.
All right, are there any questions or comments on this item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 10, Kimley Horn Amendment number 1 to IPO number 3 at the airport, Andrew.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And if I may welcome and congratulate Councilwoman Locke on her appointment. I have here a amendment number 1 to IPO number 3 with Kimley Horn at the Dalton Airport. This is for the Dalton Hangar Development Project, which is now complete. This project was extended twice, and this amendment is to cover the additional costs associated with construction admin and inspection services from Kimley Horn for those extensions. The cost is $68,950.28. Currently, GDOT grant contract number 45, which covered this project, has about $198,000 remaining in the fund. So this will be covered by those remaining funds in the grant. Happy to answer any questions on this.
It's 198,000 before this or after?
I'm sorry, say again?
198,000 before this or after?
Before, so it'll be
Okay.
about 130 after.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, are there any questions or comments on this item? Not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
A motion, a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next, we have item number 11, Kimley Horn IPO number 8 for design and construction phase services on approach light systems rehab at airport.
So this is a new IPO with Kimley Horn. Again, number 8 for design and construction phase services on the approach light system rehab at the airport. We signed a grant contract with GDOT last year sometime, grant contract number 48 in advance of the project. We received the notice to proceed for design services from GDOT last week. And this IPO will cover not only design services with Kimley Horn, but also construction services and bid phase services. The total grant was 1.2 million for this project. So this will cover the design and construction phase at 224,284.41.
All right, are there?
I have a question. Is this the extent of our match on this one or?
This is a 75-25 project. So we'll pay 25% of the total project cost at the end. So we were granted 1.2 million total, but we may not spend that much, but that's what we've got total, and we'll pay 25% of that locally.
All right, any other questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move we approve.
Motion?
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 12, professional services agreement, Bion Security 2026. Jorge?
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Congratulations, Councilwoman Luck. And before you, I have a professional services agreement. This is a renewal on Bion Professional Services. The IT department is seeking approval for the renewal for professional services agreement with Bion Security LLC for another year. This has helped the city of Dalton since 2021 and has been an essential part of the daily operations with Dalton IT department. This contract is to purchase blocks of professional services as needed, and it's set not to exceed the amount of $80,000 per year. And this is coming from the fiscal year 2026 IT operating budget fund.
All right, are there any questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve.
Second.
The motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank you.
opposed? Thank you. All right, item number 13, fiscal year 25, budget amendment number 6. Cindy?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This budget amendment, 2025 will be the final budget amendment for 2025. It's number 6. As we discussed in the Finance Committee prior to this meeting, I will entertain any questions that you may have that I did not answer earlier.
All right, are there any
So,
questions?
so this is just really a true up of what's
Just
already
true up.
happened.
Yes, we did have a little bit additional revenue from our hotel motel tax, the almost $45,000, and all the rest of them are just money in, money out, no increase in revenue or expenditures.
All right, any other questions or comments on this item?
I move we approve the budget amendment.
Have a motion? Second, is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Cindy. Item number 14, first reading. We will take no action on this tonight. This is a first reading. First reading ordinance 26-05, bond ordinance providing for the issuance of City of Dalton Combined Utilities Revenue Bond Series 2026 in the principal amount of $130 million. John?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. You just read through the introduction, but just going down through some of the details. If you remember, we brought an initial resolution in January for you to authorize us to pursue a debt issue to construct a new power plant. That's on. Oh,
Mr. Tom.
is that better?
Yes, much.
Okay, sorry. You may remember back in January, you authorized the initial resolution for us to pursue debt service associated with construction of a new power plant, approximately 57 megawatts of electric capacity to be constructed on property that we already own and operate other utility functions on. And so this is the initial reading for the bond ordinance for the revenue bonds that would be, the ordinance would authorize the issue of the revenue bonds to support the debt issue.
John, can you talk about what the city would be responsible for?
Sure. So the way our revenue bonds work is the utilities debt service is issued separately in a different structure than the rest of the general government's debt service. So what that means is it's only the revenues of the utility that are pledged to back these bonds, not the faith and credit of the taxpayers. So if there were to be anything to happen and the cash flows were not sufficient to meet the debt coverage, then it would just be utility revenues that would have to change to support paying the debt service. It wouldn't fall back on the tax revenues.
It also doesn't affect our borrowing power, the city of Dalton's borrowing
No,
power.
it's, the utility function has a separate investment grade rating by the agencies from the general government. So when S&P or Moody's, for example, evaluate the borrowing capacity of the government as a whole and the utility, they review the financials separately.
Okay, I appreciate your board chair, Ed Anthony, being here this evening and your attorney, Tom Miner, as well. Are there other questions or comments? Yes.
I would just, for purposes of people that may not have been here at the other meeting,
Sure.
just review again the need for this production of energy as opposed to going out on the market and buying it from somewhere else wholesale.
Sure, absolutely. So for as long as we have provided electric service to customers, about half of our power has come from the wholesale market, and own generation resources have provided to cover the rest. Well, the wholesale market in the late 20s and into the late 2030s has gotten to be exceptionally expensive. So a project like this may not have been viable 10 years ago. It may have been cheaper to buy power in the wholesale market. But as we contract now for the future, 10 to 12 to 15 years, this project becomes very viable. And the end result is, for that same capacity, if we were to purchase from the wholesale market versus the contrasting it with paying the debt service and annual cash flows for this debt service, it's about a $2 million savings to issue the debt and build this plant over paying for the fixed cost component of the wholesale power. So at the end of say a 10-year contract, you saved almost $2 million a year in cash flow, but then you also have a 30-year asset to speak of instead of going back to the market.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions or comments? As I stated before reading this agenda item, we will take no action on it tonight, as this ordinance requires 2 readings, so that it will be eligible to be listed as an agenda item at our next meeting. All right. Thank you so much, John. All right. Items, these will just take us down to announcements. The mayor and council meeting scheduled for Monday, April the 6th, 2026 has been canceled and rescheduled for Monday, March the 30th, 2026. So we usually meet the first Monday of the month, and in lieu of that, we will meet a week prior, and that'll be March 30th, 2026. Also,
Is that
now-
due to the spring break
yes, sir. Yes, sir. For school spring.
of the schools? Yeah.
Correct. Thank you. So following this, as we adjourn, there will be a small reception in the atrium immediately following the meeting to celebrate and welcome Councilmember Julie Locke to our team. We're very proud and happy to have you here. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion?